Okay, I already did a video on working with the PVC pipe and the plastic pipe for the home hobbyist. This is working with the copper pipe also. Like I said, I'm a home hobbyist. I just, do little things on the side. But, if you got your own house, there's sometimes that you could do the work yourself on. And if you know how to do it, you watch enough YouTube videos, enough cross-referencing, you'll be able to do the work yourself. So this is actually the copper pipe. If you're using it for drinking lines, it's supposed to be type L blue. Actually, it is in blue. The red one will be in red, but this is type L 3/4 inch. For my aquaponics system, I use PVC because this is way too expensive to use for that. But this is for my house. This was some leftover that I had galvanized, and I ran it all, changed it to copper. To cut it, same thing like plastic. You got to go ahead and measure it out, and you got to take into effect the inside. You're gonna have about a 1/2 inch on inside on both ends that you got to sweat together. So let me see this right here. These are right here a little bit. If you had the flux, they go in really good. But yeah, like I said, when you put it in there, it goes in about a 1/2 inch. So when you're measuring it out, make sure you take in for that little 1/2 inch. It's gonna go inside each other. This is just the extra T I had laying around to go out this way and straight up. But also, I mean, you could get your 90 degrees, you could get your shut-off valves, everything. If you're working with these pipes, make sure you shut your water off. I mean, make sure you follow it back and shut whatever valves you got out leading to this pipe. And then any pipes lower than this shut-offs, open them up and let everything drain out of here. But after you get your measurement, there's different ways to cut it. These are actually cutters that they sell, little pipe cutters. They sell bigger ones also. But, me, I always got my handy-dandy tool. Make sure it's a cutting wheel for metal. These right here work really good. They leave the edges a little bit jagged, so you got to clean them up. But they're less work and less energy to me than using one of these pipe cutters. Right now, what you do with the pipe cutter is you go ahead and put it on the pipe. And there's actually 2 little wheels on one side and then your cutting wheel on the other side. Your cutting wheel, they are replaceable. They do sell replaceable cutting wheels, and they do go bad pretty often. A lot more often than what a cutting wheel on your $10 angle grinder would use. So I pretty much prefer to cut anything with the angle grinder. But after you put it on your pipe the proper way, tighten it up some. Not too much, you're going to break your wheel already. And then you just got to keep going in a circle. And then when you get your good line in there, you feel it smooth, you got to tighten it up again. Now these little cutters actually do a cleaner cut than the angle grinder. It's already going through pretty good. What you got to do is you got to keep tightening it up to put that blade deeper into the copper. The copper is actually soft, so it goes right into it and it circles around it enough times where you do get a pretty clean cut off of this. Let me get this cut off right here, then I'll show you. And then like I said, you could use the angle grinder also, but using the angle grinder, it got a thicker blade on it. So it's just like cutting a piece of wood. When you line it, you got to make sure what side of that line you're on, so you make sure your piece is just the right size. It's almost done right here. And you see the line getting bigger. You see the line getting bigger, you know it's actually going through pretty good. It's almost done. With the angle grinder, it would have been a lot more messier, but probably would have been done already. See, there you go. You cut it off. It's a lot more cleaner cut though. I mean, it's like really clean. You're still supposed to use a reamer to ream it, and what the reamer does is it cleans out any jagged edges that you have right here, and the reamer reams out any jagged edges that you have on the side. This is a special reamer. If you buy the more expensive one of these, they have a reamer for the inside right on them, and this is a reamer for the inside also. You just ream the pipe out to clean anything out on the outside or on the inside. One of the other things that I use for a reamer, if I don't have any around, get yourself a set of needle nose. And I mean, they work really good. People say, oh, that's ghetto, you shouldn't do that or whatever. Man, these needle nose work really good on the inside, and on the outside, all it is this pair of pliers. And you could just spin it around on there, and that works really good to get all the jagged edges out. I mean, it really does. Now this right here, you're going to get into your piece that you got to put in right here. But you can't just join them together with the solder. What you have to do is, they sell a tool for it. I'm going to show you the tool that they sell for it, but also you could use sandpaper. All you do is you get your sandpaper. Whatever two parts you're going to fuse together, they can't be smooth in there or it won't stick. So they sell these tools right here, and these are little wire brushes. And what they do is, I don't know if you can see in there, but it's a little bit smoother. And so what you do is you go in here and you just put like scratch lines in it. And what it does is the solder, when it goes in there, will adhere to that and stick the two pieces together. See? There's a lot more scratched up in there. They got the same thing for the outside. So this is the piece we just cut right here. So what it does is it fits right in there. But you could use, if you don't have these tools right here, just like $4 tool to $11 tool, you could just use sandpaper. Just get yourself some sandpaper and sand them. See, it's all cleaned up, it's all scratched up right there. Make sure you got the pieces that you were going to line together. Try it. I mean, make sure that you have the right pieces, because if you don't, once they're together, you ain't going to be able to separate them and reuse them. I'm just using the vise so it can hold it for me right now. Come on, work with me here. There it goes. This is just to hold it together for me right now. Okay, this is the flux. You need to use flux if you're going to work with solder to put these pieces together. I don't want to say it's like a glue. To tell you the truth, if anybody got a decent comment to put on there what the flux actually does, that'll be pretty cool for me. But you put the flux around the two pieces you're going to join. One on the outside of it, and on the inside of the piece that you just scratched up also. Okay, now when you put them together, sometimes they are a little bit rougher to get together. There it goes. Now it's together like that. You got to make sure if you got another fitting on the other side, if you already got a fitting heated on the other side, that you're facing this the right way that you're going to need to face it. I mean, because if your fitting's facing one way and you face the exact opposite way that you need it, you're not going to get it off. You're going to actually waste copper and have to put another piece on it. Now normally if you go to the store, they do sell this, the solder and the flux together. Make sure you're using lead-free solder. I always use lead-free solder no matter what. It's a little bit more expensive, but for water lines you have to use the lead-free solder. Normally, like I said, they sell these together in the same pack. You can go look. And also they sell the propane and the propane or MAP gas. MAP gas heats faster, but you could also use regular propane like for your grill. And I like these better because they're starters. They sell the little ones to like the flint that sparks to start them up, but these are just a lot much more convenient to start up. Put it on, make sure it's tight, and you got to open the valve where you kind of hear it. It's just starting to hear it, and then it goes on. It doesn't have to be on full blast or full power. Normally when you're heating the copper, you heat above. You don't heat where you're going to put the solder at. Get that out of the way. You heat above where the solder is going to be, and the heat will suck the solder up in there. What's pretty cool sometimes is you know that it's ready when the copper actually turns green. You'll start seeing the flame of turn green, and that's kind of when you know it's ready. Don't forget, you could use sandpaper, but you do have to scratch the whole inside of that copper pipe. Tees are a little bit more harder to do, to put all the pieces on. You normally have to get all the pieces ready at once, and since you're heating it, it's a little bit more trickier to do, but it is possible. I've had to do a couple tees in my own house over here. Put a little more heat in there. See, see the flame turning green already? See the flames turning green already? Normally when the flames turning green, you know it's kind of ready there. And there it goes. It's getting sucked up right in there. Don't be stingy. Keep putting it in there. Make sure you go all the way around. And it sucks it right up in there. It's pretty neat. And if you're a home hobbyist, you want to do your own still or for ethanol, or you want to do your own house pipe, It's pretty easy to do, and that's enough right there. It's done. Don't touch it. It's gonna be hot, piping hot right now. People do is they grab cold wet washcloths and they clean them off. I just leave it just as it is. But normally, if you are doing a tea, have your other parts measured and ready. So if you got the pipe, you could already have it held or positioned to however you're gonna need it, and do all the 3 pieces at the same time. Since you're heating it anyways, it's a lot easier that way. When you're taking your thing apart, make sure nobody's smoking around you. Make sure there's no open flame, because when you pull it apart, you are gonna smell gas. You hear it sometimes. It kind of like burps and you smell a little bit of gas. So make sure nobody's smoking around you. Anyways, that's how to sweat copper pipe. Please comment. I know it's not professional as like if people went to school and trained for it. They should do their trade if you're going to need them. But if you're just a hobbyist or want to do a little project on your own, this is just a little insight for you on how to do it. Good luck with your projects. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe it, like it, and look for my other videos, please. Thank you. Bye-bye.